Does capitalism lead to monopoly? No. Free competition is the solution for monopoly, not the cause. There are many examples of monopolies or near monopolies throughout history that people thought were completely unbeatable. This old Forbes article about Nokia says 1 billion customers. Can anyone catch the cell phone king? Or this old article about MySpace. Will MySpace ever lose its monopoly? Just a few years after these articles, these companies fell off quite a bit due to market competition. We can even look at historical cases like Standard Oil. Standard Oil gained its very large market share, which peaked around 90% because of efficiency. They were able to drive down the prices for kerosene quite a bit and be super competitive. This gave them a huge advantage, but an advantage they were not able to keep. Many people exploited their large market share and the monopoly business practices. They would buy Standard Oil's kerosene and then sell it back to them for a higher price. They would start little oil companies and then sell them to Standard Oil for a profit just to drain their money. With all of that happening and their money being drained and companies catching up with their own innovations, by 1911 there was at least 147 companies competing with Standard Oil. They were no longer at 90% market share, they were down to about 20%. And then they were broken up because they were a monopoly. Seems like the market handled that issue a lot better than the government did. If by the time they were broken up, Standard Oil had that much competition, then it seems like breaking them up actually would reduce competition. Because prior, people were competing to keep up with Standard Oil, now Standard Oil no longer exists. And yeah, antitrust laws often become anti-competitive rather than pro-competition. If companies raise their prices, then they're price gouging. If they lower their prices, then it's predatory pricing. If they keep them the same, then that means they're part of a cartel that's scheming to keep prices the same. There's really no effective way to actually enforce these laws and no real good to come out of them. Again, they're exploited to get rid of competition, not to create competition. For example, as Thomas Sowell writes in Basic Economics, when the A&P grocery chain was the largest retail chain in the world, more than 4/5 of all the groceries in the United States were sold by other grocery stores. Yet the Justice Department brought antitrust actions against A&P. They said that their low prices were unfair to competition. That's just ridiculous. So rather than bringing us more competition and making us better off, the government just attacks companies that gives us lower prices. That's brilliant. While at the same time, they enforce policies that actually create monopolies. For a few years, Amazon had a monopoly on one-click, and they brought up lawsuits against other companies who tried to use it. It was worth billions of dollars and gave Amazon a huge boost in the marketplace. Or what about subsidies? Amazon getting $6.1 billion in subsidies. And that's not even getting into the corporate bailouts. This is what creates monopolies, not having free markets or market competition. This is what we should be opposing, not capitalism.